Living here, and today I'm going to be talking about how to collect older K-pop groups in 2018 because I feel like I've gotten this question a lot, so I thought that I would just make a video about it because I'm sure of these people who have been asking me this question over and over are curious about it. There's probably some other people out there who are curious about it as well. If you don't know, one of my ultimates is Super Junior, who are going on their 13-year anniversary this year. This might be different for other older groups, second gen groups. Super Junior is one of those second gen groups who are still super active, or first gen, second gen groups who are super active still and release music and constantly release music, literally all the time. Even if it's not always advertised, they're in SM stations, they release singles in Japan. Donghyun and Eunhyuk are doing a project in Japan right now where they release a single every single month, and eventually it's going to add up to an album that's going to come out somewhere in June, I think, this year. And of course, Super Junior just made their comeback with their 8th full-length album, Play, and they released a version B of that, and then they're releasing a repackage in April. But if you got into Super Junior today and you wanted to go back and collect some of their older albums, or if you got into a group, say Big Bang today or TVXQ or whatever, and you decided you wanted to collect all of their albums, some of these aren't available on Ketchup CD anymore, or Kpop Town or Kpop Mart or any of those stores that I said that I use normally to buy things. And I am in the process of collecting Super Junior's Japanese discography, which started coming out literally in 2007, I think, so it's been a while. So when you're getting into an older group, or Infinite are definitely getting up there too in oldness and BAP, I feel like. If you were to start collecting EXO from the beginning, groups like that even, I feel can be, and Shiny, of course. Looking up what they have as discography, I've definitely gotten questions on Twitter and Instagram and anonymously asking what is the discography of this group? How do you know how many versions there are? And yada yada yada. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that it's kind of hard for older groups to figure out what versions of everything there are, but I think a really safe bet is if you're going 2010 earlier, there's probably only one version of the album. I feel multiple versions were a later thing that started happening, or if there were two versions, it was Super Junior's Bonamano, where it was there's two covers, but they're kind of the same cover. I don't know how to explain this to you without showing it to you, so let me grab them. I own both covers of Bonamana, so these are the two covers, but it's the same photos on the back. There's that, yeah. So super weird things that you didn't see. It's the same picture, but one's on the front and one's on the back. Also, if you're getting into an SM group, just know that you're gonna have to deal with this stupid packaging. It's annoying. Finding their discography is really hard. My only real advice for this, besides just doing a whole bunch of research on your own, which I do that a lot for groups, I just go and I research and I find people who ult these groups. So if you wanted to look at Super Junior's skeleton, basically, of their discography, their complete Korean discography, some of their Japanese discography, and almost the complete Sabina discography, you can go watch my collection video from last year. If you want to see a really thorough collection, I would recommend Zapper 7 Love's Super Junior collection, because she literally unboxes things and I'm how did you know that existed? I just don't know. Or if you wanted to collect TVXQ, which, oh my gosh, good luck with that. My friend Topman Kwan is a huge fan of TVXQ, and she literally knows every DVD and everything that comes out between the 5 members of TVXQ. You know, older groups, there's definitely stands out there, definitely YouTubers who make collections for those groups and who know their entire discography. But I use these days for just knowing what there is, not necessarily versions and everything. Wikipedia is great. Wikipedia discography pages are literally my best friend all the time. You can literally just go search a group and go down to the tab that says discography, and it'll most of the time for an older group take you to a different page that'll just be an article, Wikipedia article on their discography. And it'll do this for newer groups too. I looked up, I think 17 or something, and it was on its own page too. So you can see what there was, how many singles were released, how many mini albums there are, how many full-length albums there are. It's all organized by the type of album it is. And there's also a difference between what's in Korea and what's in Japan. It's super easy to go and search on places like Bai or Zen Market, and you can kind of see what there is there. Like I said, for the most part, if you go through Super Junior's discography on Wikipedia, it'll say like Bonamana, this is version A. It won't say there's 2 covers. That's kind of something I had to do some research and find out on my own. So if you ever have any questions about Super Junior or Infinite's discography or After School's discography, like, I'm a pretty good person to ask about those things. But it'll say in the Wikipedia article like, oh, the repackage was this, like it was released later and there was a repackage of Bonamana. Just knowing what random things there are, that's kind of hard to like, I just know this, that there was a set of photocard, a version A set of photocards and a version B set of photocards for this release. Only 1 photocard per member, which is normal for Super Junior. Still to this day, it's normal. It's hard to look up photocard stuff, but there is the photocard forum, which I'm not a member of, but I do use it sometimes when I'm looking up newer groups' photocards, because new groups have like 3,000 random things in their albums, and sometimes I'm just like I have to do this for twice literally all the time, because I'm like, I don't even know like what there is to collect. But I definitely say if you're just buying albums, Zen Market, Bai, those are great places. Look up people on YouTube. If you're looking for a certain group stan, looking up their discography on Wikipedia is super helpful. But it's hard because I've been a fan for so long that I'm not really, like, there's very few groups that I went and collected and were like, oh, I have to go get their earlier stuff. Japanese releases, it's really hard unless you know the group's discography really well. I feel like you could search them up on like Yes Asia or CD Japan or something and include out of stock items and kind of get an idea that way. Just for Super Junior, I don't even really know what all of their random things were. I had to like make a list through research and then send it to Tundi and be like, can you double check this, that this is correct, before I start like going through and trying to find things. Yeah, collecting older groups is pretty easy if you're willing to buy used albums. Amazon is also a great place to buy used albums. I say that all the time. I bought in so many things for my after school collection and my Super Junior collection. There are some things that you'd be surprised are still in stock though. I know that BAP and like going into groups like EXO and BAP, who are kind of newer groups, but they're still considered older, which is so weird. Like, I saw these groups literally debut as children and whatever. But if you're going for a group like that, where they might have more things originally, EXO's only thing is that originally they had, for their first mini album, there's technically 4 versions of it, because there's I used to collect EXO. People ask me all the time where my EXO collection is. I sold it because I got out of EXO, but now I really like EXO again, but I won't go back and collect all of it again because that was a lot. Some of their mini albums EXO are like super complicated, like I think it's Exodus, has 2 versions and then there's member covers for each version. Oh my gosh. I tried to collect Minseok up to that point, I think, and I was like, oh, gosh, no, never mind. But their first mini album has the Korean versions of the Korean version of the album, and then the Chinese version of the album, and then the Chinese version has a Chinese version and a Korean version. I know that makes literally no sense, but that's one of those things. If you're going to go back and collect all of EXO's albums and you want everything, like, you would be perfectly happy with the Korean normal editions of them. And BAP, up until recently, really didn't, up until they came back from their lawsuit actually, they really didn't do multiple versions of albums. Like I said, doing multiple versions of albums is kind of a more recent thing. So a lot of early groups don't have a lot of multiple versions at first because nobody knew that. Shiny Sherlock, I think, is where their collection starts for multiple versions that aren't like repacks, and well, they have that one thing. I don't know if this video was even that helpful, but I hope that it did help you out a little bit. Just doing some research, asking people you know are big fans of them. Like I said, people message me all the time. They're like, I know you collect this group. Like, is this discography correct? Like, is everything good here? All the versions are correct and things like that. And it's just a matter of doing a lot of research on your own. When I first got into K-pop, I knew literally nothing, and I did so much research on my own because I had like no one to ask. Here I am today. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other advice for collecting older albums, leave it in the comment section down below. I can't talk anymore. And hopefully for people who are collecting newer or older groups, it'll be of some help to them. And also, if you are collecting an older group and you have a question about anything I mentioned in this video, go ahead and leave that in the comment section down below too, because even if I can't get to it right away, somebody else might be able to answer your question and help you out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!